Little Dai suddenly walked over from the side, took her little pigtail, and tied it directly to your wrist. Even tying a knot that was impossible to untie, you were dumbfounded, turning your head to look at this young lady who wanted to kidnap you to be her kept man. And asked, "What are you doing?" Little Dai said triumphantly. "You yourself are your weapon." Then she waited with a face full of expectation for your reaction. Unfortunately, neither of them understood what the other was saying. You stared earnestly at Little Dai, and after seeing that group of demons and monsters, now comparing Little Dai with them, it seemed that this young lady wasn't bad either, according to your standards. You could give Little Dai at least a 70, of course. She's barefaced now, unlike those beauties from your previous life who couldn't even unlock their phones after taking off their makeup. After all, this is a primitive society. No need to demand so much. However, while accepting her, there was one thing you couldn't agree to. You shook your head and gestured to her, telling her that you wouldn't go back to her tribe with her. Unless she joined your tribe, then you would agree. Little Dai understood what you meant, and immediately nodded like a chick pecking at rice. Then she went back to the Bian tribe to report the situation to her mother, also taking with her a pottery jar of white salt that you gave her. In the second half of the night, the various tribes also rested in their respective camps. After everyone arrived here, they started various trades, and by this time they were all exhausted. Only some young men and women with energy to burn hid in the flower bushes and rolled around on the grass. The next morning, after you had breakfast, you also took Little Dai to stroll around the other people's stalls. You had been selling things since you first arrived, and hadn't had a chance to see what special products the others had. The snake tribe's stalls were full of snake skins and several kinds of herbs. According to the snake witch, there was a medicine specifically for treating external injuries, stopping bleeding and reducing inflammation. It was a plant root that looked like ginger, and it had already been dried. It needed to be crushed or ground into powder for external application. As soon as you heard this, you knew it was a good thing, a pure natural hemostatic medicine for external wounds. So you directly bought it all up. You also picked out a beautiful golden python skin, and finally exchanged it for 3 pottery pots. On the egg tribe stalls, there were some wooden forks and animal tendons. You weren't interested in the wooden forks, but the animal tendons were excellent materials for making composite bows. You directly used the pottery pots and for large bowls to exchange for all of them. On the R tribe stall, there was a small turtle shell, which looked very exquisite. You bought it with a large pottery bowl. Then it was the other stalls in Rumming Water Valley. You waved around pottery and white salt, buying and buying like crazy. Some were very important, such as medicines, and some were dispensable, such as animal skins and food. Little Dai held your hand and followed beside you. The two of you spent money like water, almost using up all the pottery pots you